But I mean, hey, man, if you want to prioritize a career and everything else like that, that's cool. Just understand it doesn't make you sexier to the opposite gender.
It's not that I'm like I'm just trying to focus on myself and make sure that I'm ready. Like if I'm focusing on all these other mans, that could be waste. Like what's the point of that? Why wouldn't I invest in myself?
It's a risk.
No.
It's a risk. It is a risk. You know, I always say for women, it's easy to get men, but it's hard to keep them. So that really comes down to, my thing is this. Do you think you have more value now at 24 or later on when you're ready to settle down?
No, for sure later on. Even to I'll be a better mother to my children too.
Later on?
Later on.
What do you mean? Oh wait, sorry, what was your question? Maybe I misunderstood what you said.
Do you think you have more value, right, as a woman now or later on when your career is set to men?
Me personally, later on.
It's irrelevant to you personally, to men.
Okay.
And that's another problem. See, the women tend to look at the world through, well, what would I want? I would want a guy that's successful and ambitious. Cool.
No,
But
I'm just telling you how I live my life.
Okay, but here's the thing.
You're single.
If you want to be attractive, you also have to have some idea of what the opposite gender wants.
Yeah.
So the opposite gender, right? I'm asking you, do you think you have more value now or later on?
From their standpoint, not yours.
The answer is right now for you. I'll make it easier for you. It's not later
I feel
on.
like I'm gonna just keep gassing up. Like when I'm 30, I'm gonna be the baddest bitch.
No.
I feel like
No, you will be better than
progressively get worse from here.
Yes.
This is actual data. This is nobody's opinion.
This is fact.
When you see the market value for women who get the most right swipes on these dating apps, it is between the ages of 23 and 25. That's not our opinion. That's not us being misogynist. This is just math. For men, it starts around the age 35, 38. That's when it gets to our peak. So our peak is much later. So when he's asking that question, I understand you internally can have like personal self-worth and nobody's questioning that. But the problem is this idea that you think that you're going to be of more value to men when you're older. There's just stats that would show that empirically that's not correct.
I'll beat the odds. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Why? Let me. I got a question. Now, why do you think you'll beat the odds? Why do you want to beat the odds? Is what I'm saying. Because I'll explain. You know what? Since we're at the end of the show, I'll just explain it to you. Is women in your age bracket, in your demographic right now, they express exactly the same thing you're saying right now. They want to be independent because they fear that they'll never find a guy that they can like trust with their lives. Because what we do is we teach women, especially of Gen Z and probably the latter half of the millennials, we teach women that men are never to be trusted. You can't trust them with security. You can't trust them to make more money. You were just saying a minute ago, these guys are bums. You can't find it. A high value men are very, very rare.
Canadian player.
So finding a guy who is of some really mythical apex quality is next to impossible. So the only recourse women have is to, I don't know, invest in yourselves, right? I'm going to be a bad bitch when I get to be 30. The problem with that is the reason why you want to be a bad bitch at 30 is because you can't trust men for your long-term security. So you have to provide it for yourself. That's the fear. The fear is that I'll never be able to find a guy that I can trust with my life, much less kids, much less paying the bills, much less being dominant, because everyone on this whole panel here today has said pretty much the same thing, that they can't find a dominant guy, or that the guy is dominant, then it's 50-50 and I'm going to be just as dominant as he is. And so what you're doing is you're sort of like reconfirming for yourself that you cannot trust guys. They are bums, or they're incompetent, or they are abusers in some way. And so the only way to hedge your bet for the future is to become a bad bitch by 30. And so when you do that, you end up sort of shooting yourself in the foot because you can't find a guy to whom you want to submit to or defer to when it comes to authority. And that's, I think, is one of the greatest problems for women that are of your age right now, is because there's this lack of like, I'm never going to find a guy like that. And I can understand, because there's a lot of guys that aren't never going to be like that.
We agree with that. We said most guys are bums. We agree with that.
Yeah,
I was going to say, you pretty much need the,
but you're also becoming the man you want to marry.
Yeah.
You see that?
Right,
You get the graduate degree, and that's going to be an issue. Do you understand how that might not be attractive in the future?
I understand, but I'm also utilizing my talents. Like, I'm gifted with math.
Okay.
And also I want to say, like,
my dick is hard. You could do arithmetic.
I'm fucking
but I'm like, this isn't for men. Like, I like to do math. That's for myself. Like, that's just me. Like,
yeah, but I get that, but do you not see how like the things that you're flexing like are not attractive to men?
No, and I totally get that. And I was gonna say, he hit the nail on the head. It totally goes with trust. Like, my upbringing definitely made my trust with men not like. At one point, we were homeless. My dad wasn't pulling anything. Like, I was on the streets. So like, seeing a man, like, how do you have your family on the streets?
Do you think you could ever trust a man with your life?
Again?
Emotional damage.